Welcome everybody to Oxcart Farm Video Adventures. Today we are going to be following the process of manufacturing a primitive bow from a mulberry trunk harvested in our own backyard. Today's video is going to follow the process of converting that split bow stave into a usable bow billet. The next segment will follow the process of converting that bow billet into a usable final finished primitive bow for both small game and deer hunting.
You mean what? Deer like this?
No, Sonia, deer like this. In bow crafting, like in most projects, having the right material and the right tools is critical to a successful outcome. Here's a selection of the tools that are used in this project of mulberry bow making and the bow stave in the background. A single bevel hatchet and an adze are useful in removing large amounts of wood from the bow stave. That's good for rough shaping. The draw knife is versatile and can be used with the flat against the stock to remove large amounts of wood, or the bevel against the stock for more controlled operation. A rasp or a Stanley Sureform tool further reduces the amount of wood taken off and gives you more control in final shaping. The finest control is available through a cabinet maker's scraper, where very small amounts of wood are removed when you're looking for the single ring. I've marked the end of the bow stave in order to be able to even it out and remove excess wood to get down to the heartwood. Using the single bladed hatchet, I'm going to remove excess wood from the belly of the bow to even out the line of the bow stave. That'll make it consistent. By the way, in case you don't know, the belly is the portion of the bow that faces you when you're shooting, and the back is the portion, ironically, that's in front, facing away from you when you shoot the bow. Using the adze, I'm going to remove sapwood from the back of the bow so that the heartwood is exposed, and we can begin eventually the process of finding the single ring that will form the back of the bow. This is the bow billet formed by removing the sapwood and evening out the belly of the bow. Now we can inspect it and straighten it if we need to. This is the steaming process that will help take the twist out of a short section at one end of the bow billet, allowing us to have a straighter piece of wood to work with. Once the water really starts to steam, cover it to trap the steam around the portion of the bow that needs to be reshaped. Let it steam for a half an hour or 45 minutes, and then we can reshape that portion to give us a straight billet. Clamping the straight portion of the bow down will allow us to twist in the opposite direction the portion of the bow that needs to be adjusted. That way we'll have a straight billet and can work with that to produce the final shaping of the bow. When the trunk was originally cut, the ends of the trunk were painted to prevent cracking during the drying process. Now, in order to expose all of the heartwood rings, that painted portion is cut away and the heartwood will be marked in order to have a guide in shaping the billet down to the original ring that's going to be used throughout. The end of the bow stave has been worked down to expose a ring that will be the guiding ring throughout the bow making process. We'll follow that ring from one end of the stave to the other. With the guiding ring exposed, the rest of the bow billet is worked down with various tools to make it easy to find the heartwood and follow that ring from one end of the bow stave to the other. Using the adze, the sapwood from the side of the bow stave is removed so that the heartwood is exposed. With the rough work done with the adze, the draw knife is brought into play to remove small amounts of wood, getting down to the heartwood and that single ring. You want a single ring on the back of the bow to reduce the likelihood of bow breakage. If you cut through numerous rings, it leaves a weak spot that can allow the bow to break under tension. The bow is now clamped down so that the belly of the bow can be faired up with a Stanley Sureform tool, evening out that portion of the bow just as we previously had done with the back of the bow with the draw knife. The bow is now clamped down, exposing the back of the bow so that a cabinet scraper can be used to remove the final amount of wood required to expose the single ring that will extend the full length of the back of the bow. Using the cabinet scraper to establish the single ring is the last step in this video. Next time around, we will work on the process of bow design, final finishing, in order to produce a good hunting bow.
Thank you for watching our first Ox Cart Farm video adventure.
We hope we will earn your subscription with this and future videos.
We also welcome constructive comments and criticism. Please post below.